Like, I'm speaking to most Habesha men right now. Stop being nonchalant. You do not need to be nonchalant to get that girl, to get that opportunity to provide for people. You do not need to be nonchalant. It's gonna help you for a season, but long term, purposely being nonchalant is not going to help you. All it does is add unnecessary mystery. That's it. But for what? You sacrifice an experience for being nonchalant. A lot of Habesha men feel deeply. They care about their families. They carry responsibilities. They feel stress, they feel pressure, they feel pain, they feel heartbreak. But when it comes to talking about emotions, many of us just shut down. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Like, for me, growing up, being vulnerable was like something I had to control, something I had to hide, something I have to just move on quickly and brush under the rug. So instead of opening up, many of us decided to stay quiet. We changed the subject and we joke things away. I'm looking at my notes right now. We joke things away. I think that's something I learned from my family. I think my dad as well. We joke things away. We joke the pain away. Because that's just a coping mechanism. That's just how we are a little bit. And we focus on work or responsibilities. I know I'm not the only one that does this. I throw myself in work whenever I'm feeling low, because it's the only thing that I feel like I can control. Because I know in my life, I feel like I can't control it in that moment. So I move to something that I can, like a task, a skill, a job, a hobby, which gives me a sense of control, I guess. And over time, that silence becomes normal. And like many Habesha boys grew up seeing their fathers and their uncles and like older men as like very strong, very stubborn, very hard-minded, responsible, and hardworking. But emotionally expressive, not always. In my notes I typed, you often saw men who carried the family financially, solved problems, endured hardships quietly. They were respected for being tough and dependable. But rarely did you see men openly talk about sadness, talk about fear, talk about insecurity, process emotions out loud. So as a kid, you learned something indirectly. Being a man means handling things on your own. We learn that being a man means handling things on your own. That's something I took. That's something that burned inside of me. I felt like for me to be the manliest man that I can be, I had to do it on my own. I had to be me on my own. I had to fully live on my own. I had to cut people off and just be able to be self-sufficient, because that's what a man does. I don't know where I got that idea from. Many Habesha boys grew up hearing phrases like be strong, don't worry about it, focus on what you need to do, and other people have bigger problems. I think the thing that belittles issues is telling someone that they should be grateful. I feel like, hear me out. There's nothing, you should be grateful. Always be grateful. But I think some of us like sugarcoat our issues with just be grateful. We just throw it over our issues instead of opening up the issue, like processing through it, and then being grateful, and then learning through the experience, and then learning through your mistake. Telling someone off the bat to just be grateful and just ignore it, I feel like that's not healthy. That's not healthy. And over time, it becomes like a habit to suppress your emotions and to just ignore it. And even when you want to open up, you might not even know how. Even for me, like, I've gotten so used to suppressing how I feel to the point where, like, when it comes to opening up, or when it comes to being given the floor to speak, I'm at a loss for words. Like, I have no idea what to say. And even when I do say it, it feels icky. It feels weird. I feel like I've overshared. I'm going to admit it. Sometimes when I open up, I do feel less of a man. I've got to admit that. So yeah, even when you want to open up, you might not know how. Maybe because I never gave myself that spot in the first place. So I'm so used to asking questions, asking people how they are, but the second they ask me how I am, I'm at a loss for words. I feel like I'm taking too much of their time. I feel like it just shouldn't be that way for some reason. And that sometimes I feel like there's this purpose within me where, like, that's not what I'm here to do. This can obviously stem from like growing up. I think in Habesha families, like, we prioritize respect, discipline, responsibility, education, work ethic. But little did we ever have those conversations where someone said, how are you feeling emotionally? Like, what's been bothering you lately? Or what are you struggling with internally? What's been on your mind? What's going on, man? And we never had that. Not here to complain. It's not me complaining. It's just the different lifestyles we've had with family. So emotional awareness sometimes I feel like emotional awareness, how do I say this? We become aware of our emotions, but we learn to process them later in life. I feel like Habesha people do that. At least for me, I learned to be more aware of my emotions growing up. Like, I knew what the emotion was, but I just didn't know how to process it. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to get this feeling away from me. And it's sad because many men reach their 20s or 30s before they even understand their own emotional patterns. We grew up associating strength with control and composure. I feel like being vulnerable feels like I'm losing control. And it's essentially, it is. You're giving up control. You're giving up a side of you for the sake of unraveling it and processing it, whether it's to God, whether it's to a friend, whether it's to someone. Just like, you're essentially giving up a piece of yourself and unraveling it with somebody. And you might think like, oh, what if people judge me? What if I look weak? What if I say the wrong thing? Instead of taking that risk, many men just choose to stay silent, including me. And it's not because they just don't care, but it's because they're unsure how the vulnerability will be received. Many men. Let me stop. There's a lot that's expected from young Habesha men. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, there's a lot expected from young men to begin with, but young Habesha men, I feel like there is another standard too. I feel like physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, men have to reach this certain level to direct their families. Well, there's like a study done where families choose to follow the father, no matter what his side is. They choose to follow the father's values more. If like our values are shaken up, or if our strength is shaken up, if our emotions are shaken up, who's going to be the pillar for my family, for my wife, my kids, my grandkids? Who's going to be that pillar, you know? And that's something that I'm still trying to unlearn. Many Habesha men express love through working hard, providing support, solving problems, and helping family members. For many Habesha men, this is a way of saying, I care about you. Me included. If I care about you, I will do something for you. I will go the extra mile for you. And if I care about somebody, then I'm going to let them know. That's something I'm learning recently. Like, I'm not trying to, like, I don't want to, like, no shade to parents or anything, but like, I know my kids are probably going to want to do things that I never got to teach them. So no shame to my parents when I want to teach my kids how to say I love you. Like, wouldn't you want to be that parent that wants to tell their kids that they can love each other and like say expressively say love out loud and give each other hugs or something like that? Like, the thing that you never really received as a kid, wouldn't you want to do that to your kids? I think a lot of people assume most men are fine like 100% of the time, but that's never really the case. You would be surprised how many guys are not fine. How many guys just secretly just want to talk to somebody. How many guys that just want to open up about what's going on in their lives. And most guys don't even like want to do that. I think most of us just we bond over just doing things with other people. And even if we're not like verbally opening up about the subject, that's a way of healing for men. Men heal by doing things with other men. Whoa, pause! I didn't even know that was like, I didn't mean to do that, bro. That's crazy. Men, we cope differently. We don't really like, we need to put our hands into a task, a hobby. We throw ourselves into work, or we hang out with other guys, and that's just our way of bonding. That's our way of healing. And even if we're not verbally talking about how we feel, in a way that is healing for men, including me. I feel like there's different types of processing your emotions, even if it's not verbally speaking through it all. This is one thing I've been learning recently. I always thought for me to process my emotions, I have to just like talk about it with somebody. But I don't always have to do that. I could go for a walk. I could think it through. I could just clear my head. I could edit a video. I could go play a sport. I could just clear my head and I can pray, you know, and when it's needed, then I'll open up to somebody. At least that's my like motto as of right now. Because I notice when I open up to too many people, I feel yucky. I feel weird. I think one other thing too is that most Habesha men, like, we're not given, we struggle with emotional intimacy. Like we didn't grow up being given like compliments every single day. Like, oh, you look handsome, or you look, or you got like so much going for you, or yada, 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 or stuff like that. Like majority of it was just expectations. Like you've got to do this by this day, or you got to do this and do that. I feel like as opposed to women, and like, I feel like that builds some level of like, not insecurity, but like, it's to the point where if we were to get a compliment, like we're never going to forget it. We're never going to forget it. And I think that's why most men like kind of become like dogs in a way when it comes to like women. Like even the slightest hint of emotional comfort and emotional safety attracts a man really, really quickly. It attracts a broken man really, really quickly. Sometimes that's all it takes. Someone who just provides that comfort for somebody. And the quicker they grab that comfort, the longer they've been hiding it from themselves. The longer that they haven't felt that comfort in a while. So I think it's kind of upsetting how like it just happens to be that way. Like you'd be surprised how many men don't feel that sort of comfort or that pampering or whatever that is, because that's not what we're surrounded with. So the second we do feel that, we latch onto it quickly. I think that's why men fall very quickly sometimes, because some men love to be pampered. Some men love to feel that comfort, because men have not felt that comfort in a long time. Yeah, that's just another random thing I just wanted to speak on. There's no statistics to this, so I don't know the truth, but I'm just going to speak for me and my community. I feel like many Habesha men are declining in emotional stability because we're choosing to ignore our emotions, and we're choosing to just push forward because we're choosing to push forward and just ignore how we feel. But we learn that through the pressures that are given to us, the pressures that are expected of us, even if they're unsaid. Some of it is from social media. Some of it is expected from our significant other. Some of it is expected from our family members. And I don't know where this pressure came from. I can't even think back to a time where someone has verbally said, you need to do this for your family. Straight to my face. These are things that I just wanted to have. And I happened to put an immense amount of pressure over that. And I had this talk with somebody on the podcast. This might get posted soon, but we were talking about how I feel like what pushes most men, in my opinion, is your future imaginary family. Am I the only guy that does that? Like if I'm feeling a little tired, if I'm feeling a little lazy, or if I'm feeling unmotivated, or if I'm feeling like I just can't, I just picture like a future imaginary family, you know, a future family. What would my future wife think of this right now? What would my future kids think of this right now? You know? And like, they don't want to be, my wife wouldn't want to be married to a slob, a bum. My kids don't want to look up to somebody that doesn't want to do anything. And like, that's just where this pressure comes from. And I feel like a lot of guys feel that way. I see lots of memes just like there's one guy in like a car and he's living alone and he has a lot of money and he has all these things, right? In a high-rise apartment and everything. And then there's another guy who's like doesn't have all the money in the world, but like he's with his kids, he's with his wife, he's smiling, he's happy. And that's like the man's dream. And not many men talk about that. I feel like most women assume men just want money, power, and that's it. But every man, not every man, I'm not gonna say every man, but most men that I've seen in my community, deep down, they just wanna have a wife and kids and a family and the American dream. A golden retriever in the back. Take your kids to soccer practice. I feel like most men feel that way deeply. Deep down, whether you admit it or not. At least one of those things. And it's just funny. You know, it's just like there's this big disconnect. Like women think that men don't want that kind of stuff. But men deep down, they do. They want that happiness. They want that peace. That's peace to them. Like I'm not going to speak for all men. I'm not going to speak for all women, right? But like that is peace to some men. And the reason why there's difficulty in both parties connecting is because I think most Habesha men feel like they have to reach that stage of seriousness and coldness and almost kind of be like Batman for a little while to end up being with that family or to end up having that type of American dream. And I get it. I'm not gonna lie, I get it. I see why men do that. I see why men in their 20s and their 30s reach that stage of their life. There's this whole period most men reach in their lives. It's this period where they're not talking to anybody. This period where they're single and they're staying away from women. It's this period where they're not spending a lot of money. It's this period where they're staying home a lot more and they're working a lot more. It's this period where they're not posting a lot. There's this period where a man will grind and he will not think about anything else other than his future family that he wants to provide, or other than his current family that he wants to provide for, or even for just himself. When a man grinds, a man grinds. I feel like it's a good pressure that we put on ourselves. I'm not gonna lie, like it's a standard. We should work hard. We should put the work in. That we have duties, responsibilities as a man that we should. And same for women. I feel like we both must put our 2 cents in to make the most of it. You know, obviously nobody's perfect. We all have our days. There's no like work 24 hours. I'm not even gonna get into it. You know the lines and levels that I'm trying to say. I hope you do. And like many Habesha men grew up in environments that valued strength, discipline, and responsibilities. And although those qualities are valuable, emotional awareness is also important. Many men are scared to be themselves. Here's the thing. Oh my gosh, I'm about to go into it. Like I'm speaking to most Habesha men right now. Stop being nonchalant. You do not need to be nonchalant to get that girl, to get that opportunity to provide for people. You do not need to be nonchalant. It's gonna help you for a season, but long term, purposely being nonchalant is not going to help you. It just hasn't benefited me. It just hasn't benefited me. It hasn't benefited the people I know. All it does is add unnecessary mystery. That's it. But for what? You sacrifice an experience for being nonchalant. There's an experience where like, all your friends are jumping in the pool. You're just too nonchalant for that. You just miss out on an experience. Or like, you're talking to a girl and like she likes the way you talk about, I don't know, cars or something. But you want to keep it cool, so you talk a little bit about it. She doesn't want to hear that, bro. She does not want to hear that. She wants to hear you talk passionately about what you love. She doesn't want to hear you be all nonchalant all the time. It's boring, even for just talking to another guy. Like it's boring to be around somebody that's nonchalant. All right, being nonchalant does not prove your manliness. Being nonchalant does not make you look cool. In fact, people that are purposely themselves, people that allow themselves to just be them, unapologetically, that is the man in the room. Obviously emotionally stable, obviously they're emotionally aware, they're not crying all the time. Like, I think we have this common misconception of being nonchalant. We think that being chalant is like, it's overly expressive, it's overly emotional, it's feminine, but there's a balance in between. You know that, right? Being chalant is being yourself. It's being passionate about what you love. It's about being the best version of who you truly are. Being nonchalant just adds a glass cover to who you are. Like, no one's going to get to know who you are as a creator, as a friend, as a boyfriend, as a man. No one's going to get to know who you are if you pretend to be something you're not. Anyways, I'm getting it off my chest. Most Habesha men, we need to lock in. Nonchalant is not the new wave. It's only the wave. Like, I feel like being nonchalant though. However, I feel like being nonchalant at certain times is important. You need it sometimes to get through certain situations, to help you with certain things. But majority of the time, long term, being nonchalant has not helped me personally. You proved me wrong. I just want to say that. And yeah, anyway, I'm gonna digress. That was most Habesha men just they prefer to be nonchalant. I don't get it. It's not gonna benefit you. It's not gonna. That's just me. Like, I feel like if you are nonchalant, that better be the real you. Does that make sense? Like, it shouldn't be you trying to be nonchalant. You should just naturally be nonchalant. That's just how it is. Don't try to be nonchalant. Be you. Chill, relax, like, be who you are. You know, obviously with lines and levels to it. I feel like I had this whole conversation with a friend where he said, like, you have to, you should always like have some guard up when you're talking to everybody. And I agree with that. There should be some extent to that. Like, have some guards up. Don't overly like throw yourself at people and who you are to every single person, right? But at the same time, don't hide yourself. Don't try to change yourself with everybody. Be who you are. That's all. Habesha man. Because I've noticed it just frustrates a lot of Habesha women, that most Habesha guys just like want to try to be cool, want to try to be trap, want to try to be this and that. It's not benefiting us. It's making us look bad, guys. We need to lock in. So whenever I notice myself being like nonchalant, I ask myself, is this really me, or is this me trying to be like overly manly? Most of the time it's just me being me. I'm not gonna lie. I think a lot of Habesha men, including me, we need to realize that emotional awareness isn't just replacing strength. Like, it deepens your strength. It makes you that much more stronger as a man. And it's learning that vulnerability doesn't really change who you are. It means understanding yourself more clearly. So I'm trying to learn right now to be vulnerable with myself. I can't even be vulnerable with myself. You understand that? To the point where I can't even say it out loud when I'm talking to myself, or write it down when I want to write it down. Like, I can't even when I'm thinking about it, I just push it away because I can't even be vulnerable to myself. Like, there's two versions of me. There's me, and then there's a person looking at me, judging me, telling me I can't be vulnerable to who are you? What are you talking about? And over time, we start to realize that understanding that brings healthier relationships, brings better communication, stronger emotional resilience. And because real strength isn't about carrying everything alone. Sometimes it's knowing when you don't have to. And I wrote this down. This is something that I am still learning. I have a lot of people get mad at me for not opening up. Sometimes I believe the more I open up, the less of a man I feel. That's just how I feel. That's how I feel. Is that the truth? That is not the truth. That's furthest from the truth. And I'm only sharing this video because I'm not talking down to you. I'm not talking up to you. I'm talking with you, with most of the guys out there. That's just how I feel. And I'm trying to learn that real strength isn't about carrying everything alone. It's about knowing when you don't have to. That's where the true strength is. I think my stubbornness as a Habesha guy makes me want to carry it all on my own. And I've noticed this in women too. Like, most Habesha women just want to carry it on their own. They want to learn it on their own. They want to keep it on their own. They want to upkeep everything on their own. And it doesn't benefit us. I've never seen it benefit anybody. And it only keeps us further apart from each other, which is something I realized. Like many like friendships that I've had with other Habesha women or Habesha men, like the more we try to like, oh, like I'm good, oh I got it, da, 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 like it pushes us away from each other. It pushes me away from my friends whenever I do that. I'm like, oh, I got it, don't worry, I'm good, I'm all fine, don't worry about me. No, let me worry about you. Your problems are important. Don't worry about me, I got it all figured out. The other person starts to realize that, you know what, if I'm the only one opening up, I'm not going to talk to this person. Why would this person want to open up this space for me if they can't even open up that space for themselves? You catching my drift? And that's the hard truth that I'm learning these past couple months. I'm being a hypocrite. I'm opening up that space for other people when I can't even open up that space for myself. When I can't even let them open up that space for me. That's what a hypocrite is. That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm learning this. I'm trying to figure this all out. Us Habesha guys, we also need to figure this out. Because I've noticed it with a lot of other people. And obviously to each its own. I'm only expressing how I feel about me and to some people around me telling me to make this video too. So I'm only expressing this off of like just what I've noticed everywhere. Social media, people around me, and me heavily included. So yeah, we need to remember this. We need to learn this together as Habesha men. So if you liked what we said, it's just me in here. I'm so used to being the host. I said we. If you like this episode, me in the room, relaxing, if you like videos like this, let me know. I'll make more of it. I enjoyed this episode. I feel like I got some stuff on my chest about Habesha men, including me, and just the whole idea of it all. But yeah, I look a little tired today. I had a long day today, so excuse me, be polite on me. If you guys enjoyed this episode, let me know. I'll definitely do more of it. And let me know in the comments how you guys feel. If you noticed anything, and if you notice anything similar with Habesha men in your community, or with any man in your community, or if you're a guy that's experiencing the same exact thing with anything that I pointed out, let me know in the comments. This is a safe space. So anyways, thank you guys for tuning in on the Brief Dive podcast. I'm gonna catch y'all. Peace.